All right. Well, let's talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie. Let's
Yeah.
get into this review discussion. Now, Jeff, you have not seen the movie.
I have not. We are gonna be going sometime this week.
Okay. Now, so I have seen it, obviously. Dev has seen it as well. He was going to be here tonight, but again, he's out. He's under the weather. But so let's start off with the news about the movie. So the Super Mario Brothers movie is officially the biggest opening ever for an animated movie, beating out Frozen 2. Domestically, it has done 204.6 million, international 172.9 million, global $377.5 million. $1 billion box office run is now locked in. An incredible result for Nintendo and Illumination. Um,
Just awesome, man. Absolutely awesome.
so yeah, let's talk about this movie, right? So I mean, again, keep in mind, a film critic, I am not. Um, I'm looking at when I sat down to watch this movie, and also sitting down to kind of review this movie. I really looked at it from a sense of like, how did it make me feel watching it? Like in my enjoyment of it and stuff like that. And also, I tried to look at it in a somewhat critical sense. But obviously, this being a gaming podcast, the things that I was really looking for this movie were how true is it to the games? How enjoyable is it? Does it do the games justice? Um, and like, does it reward my fandom? Those were really the big four things for me. And I just want to say that I was absolutely smiling ear to ear from start to finish for this movie. Like I was just like it was just insane. I was just hardcore smiling, just cheesing it the whole time. I had such a good time and such a blast watching this movie. Um the amount of love and care in this movie is absolutely stunning. You could tell that Nintendo definitely had their hands on this. You could just see it, especially after the Mario Brothers movie from 30 years ago. You just know that they were like, okay, well you guys can make this Illumination, but we're gonna be pretty hands on. And you see it. I mean, the movie opens with the Nintendo logo. Like that's what the movie
Oh
opens with.
wow, nice.
Yeah, it's just the Nintendo logo with an 8-bit Mario and Luigi waving. That's like the opening of the movie, and then it gets into the actual movie. Um, the amount of Easter eggs and moments, like the amount of Easter eggs and details about in this film, like blew me away. Like it was way more than I was expecting. Like we were moments into the movie, and I had nudged Dev's shoulder 5 times. Like I'm talking like under 30 seconds. Um, like I don't want to really give too many spoilers away. I mean, I'll give you a freebie. So the movie kind of opens with Mario and Luigi in a restaurant. And the restaurant pays homage to an old Nintendo franchise that we spoke about during our Nintendo tier list last week.
Nice.
Um, and it's just like little things like that, and then bigger things that happen. There's just so much detail. Luigi had a cell phone in the opening scene, and his ringtone. I don't want to give it away, but I instantly completely just popped for it. I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. Again, I don't want to give too much away, so I'm gonna try to be very vague. But yeah, the Easter eggs in this movie had me freaking out, and like the amount of stuff that was like in the backgrounds of scenes, like so much attention to detail, and it was just so they could put in, you know, these Easter eggs. And I need to go watch like the movie. I want to go see it again so I could see if there's anything that I missed. I'm sure I missed something, um, but I saw a lot of stuff, and I thought that was awesome.
I'm
Yeah.
really happy to hear that because I really want to go see this. And some of the critiques I've heard of the movie are basically some people have said like, if you're not a fan of Mario, you're just gonna be like bored half the time.
No, I disagree
But
with that take completely.
I see that. But even if that were true, I'm like, what are you doing going and seeing a Mario movie if you're not a Mario fan? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it's probably not true, but even still, it's like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, to touch on that take, I would say that the movie is very enjoyable. Um, I found it super enjoyable, even in a terms of like, if it wasn't Mario, if it was like other characters, would I have went and seen this movie? I mean, based off what I don't know if I would have, but sitting down to watch it, like if somebody had put it on for me, I'd be like, oh, this is a pretty good movie. Like it's the animation's incredible, which I'll talk about, and like but everything's really great about it. I don't really have a lot of issues with it.
Okay.
But
The
obviously,
audience seems to love it. It's got over 95%, so
yeah.
that's really good.
So yeah, so let's dive into the story a little bit. Again, gonna keep it vague. Um, so this movie follows the Mario brothers, Mario and Luigi, originally from Brooklyn, and they end up finding themselves in the Mushroom Kingdom. Obviously, Bowser is in the movie, and he does things that Bowser would do. Uh, again, I'm trying to keep it very vague for you guys.
No, you're good. You're good.
But Peach is in the movie, as we know. Donkey Kong's in the movie. Not gonna spoil how Donkey Kong comes into play exactly. But I would say that I could understand the critique of the narrative. I think the narrative is very straightforward. It's point A to point B, with fun times along the way. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I could see why some people would want a little bit more. But again, I mean, it's a Mario Brothers movie made by Illumination, who makes Despicable Me or whatever, and the Minions. I don't know. I not necessarily a problem with it, but it was just something I noted. It was like, yeah, I mean, it's very straightforward. It's very like, hey, here's Mario. Here he is. He's going to meet the princess, and then X, Y, and Z happens, and they have to go from one place to another to stop Bowser, and et cetera, et cetera. But I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed the amount of time that they spent in Brooklyn, because they
Okay.
could have very easily, and I don't think this is spoilery, but like they very easily could have been like, hey, these are the Mario brothers, they're from Brooklyn, all right, 5 minutes in, they're in the Mushroom Kingdom. No, we spend like 15-ish minutes in Brooklyn before we even get to the Mushroom Kingdom.
Oh,
um
cool.
I really loved it because it really let these characters breathe, and I'm going to talk about the characters in my next few bullet points. But just the amount of time that they give Mario and Luigi, and no spoilers, but Mario's family, giving all of this time to breathe of who they are. Um, okay, so I will give one kind of brief spoiler because it's not really a spoiler. We know they're plumbers. So the movie opens with Mario and Luigi have started their own, their plumbing business. Now,
Yeah.
originally, the Mario Brothers, I don't know if you know this, Jeff, but Mario's first appearance on the NES outside of Donkey Kong, the arcade game, was in a game called Wrecking Crew. Mario was originally a part of a wrecking crew.
Okay.
And so the movie opens with the wrecking crew, and they're making fun. The guy from the wrecking crew is making fun of them for leaving the wrecking crew to be plumbers.
Uh,
Like, and again, like that,
that's awesome.
it's so awesome. But like little things like that, like details like that, was just so
Yeah.
enjoyable. Where it was
So it
just,
was obviously
sorry,
made for Nintendo fans. That's perfect. I love that.
yeah. Well,
And
again, there's a lot of Easter eggs in this movie that aren't just Mario Easter eggs. Like, I want to tell you so badly, but you have to go see the movie.
yeah, we're gonna go
Um,
see it.
Oddly enough, though, I didn't see any Zelda references, which I was like, what? 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 How? Like, they were referencing some pretty niche, or
Huh.
niche franchises, but like at least I didn't see anything Zelda. Maybe I missed it. Um, but
There's no way you'd miss a Zelda reference.
yeah, there's no way. So I don't
But
know. Maybe they're holding it off because they want to make a Zelda movie. I would be down for it.
TJ asks, how was Chris Pratt as Mario? I heard he was decent.
So I'm gonna get into that. That
Okay.
it's down my bullet points. So, but I will be getting there soon. Um, but overall I enjoyed the dynamic of the plot of this movie, because they go a direction that you probably aren't expecting. Um, it's not like a completely out of left field. Like everything makes sense for what happens and where they're going with it, but it's not. It's probably not what you're expecting this movie to be, in terms of the narrative. And I don't want to kind of like mislead people. Again, it's very hard to say without spoiling it. Um, but I enjoyed it. I also think that sets up really well for a sequel where, like, what I would expect, like if you had asked me what I thought this plot was going to be about, I think that plot's going to be in the sequel because this one doesn't go that way.
Yeah.
But I digress again. Um, let's get into the characters. Overall, I love the characters in the Super Mario Brothers movie. I think that they stay so true to what the characters from the games were while expanding upon them, because obviously it being a movie, you have to expand on these characters, and I think they just really kind of nailed this.
That's difficult to do. That's cool.
It really is. So, like, again, don't want to say too much, but like there are details about these characters that are just so niche that like a casual fan of Mario may not know this certain thing about Bowser, or may not know this certain thing about Luigi, for example. Or like, and I don't want to go too far into it, but like there was some really cool moments in this movie where I'm like obviously someone like me who's like really pays attention, like Bowser in this movie kind of reminded me of Bowser from Paper Mario from the
Oh,
N64.
nice.
Like, and it's just like, how did they like, you know what I mean? Like that's a love and attention and detail. Like they were like, hey, remember the N64 RPG Mario game that like most casual Mario fans don't even know exists? What if like Bowser was kind of like that? And it's just like obviously there are more games where he is like that character, but you know, it's really cool to see. I was also kind of really impressed with the like the character development in this movie. Like Mario and Luigi and you know other characters, where we find them and where we leave them are two totally different places. It's kind of like remember in like the '93 Mario Brothers movie. This is like compare and contrast. Like in the '93 Mario Brothers movie, like they don't really change. They just kind of say fuck it, let's go along with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in this movie, like the Mario, like these characters just grow and there's dynamics between them that I was really impressed with.
Nice.
I also really want to give the movie a shout out for Princess Peach's character. This iteration, alongside like Paper Mario, because again I'm a huge Paper Mario fan. Um, like this is a really good Princess Peach. Like, both you know not just the performance from Anna Taylor Joy, but like just the character and the writing for her and like how she responds to situations. I really was impressed with it. I really liked it. Um, so I just wanted to
A,
kind
s-
of mention Peach
a
on that.
strong Princess Peach is a very important part too, man.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Overall, though, I love these characters and I love where we went with them. I love Bowser in this movie. I love Peach, Donkey Kong. It's probably my favorite version of Donkey Kong too, I'd say. Bless you. Um, Mario, Luigi, just their dynamic is really awesome, really special, and you know, it's like it's the first time ever where like there's the running joke in the games that Mario and Luigi actually secretly hate each other. Like that's not the case in this movie. Like they're best friends. Like
Yeah.
they're absolutely best friends, and like we get some like flashback scenes from Luigi's memories that were really cool. And just yeah, it's just overall like a really
Yeah.
awesome character. So let's talk about the cast. We've talked about the characters. Let's talk about how the actors did in their performances. And I just want to say that the cast almost unanimously home runs, absolutely.
Yeah.
Charlie Day as Luigi is incredible. Jack Black as Bowser, same thing. Like oh my god, like Jack Black as Bowser is just the most perfect. He did like such a good job at fusing the menacingness of Bowser with the other stuff that I was talking about earlier, and absolutely kills it. Um, Anna Taylor Joy did awesome. I think Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong was really awesome. So I don't want to say it. There's this really funny thing that happens, but I can't tell you. But I'll just say that Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is perfect. There's a point in the movie where something happens and he says something, and I'm like, dude, that's like I can't even tell if this is just Seth Rogen being Seth Rogen or if this is like Seth Rogen being Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
Keegan
funny. A
Michael
lot of people were a lot of some or I don't want to say a lot. Some people were down on the movie because of Chris Pratt. I dislike Seth Rogen as much as those people dislike Chris Pratt. So you know, it's an even trade off. You don't have to love everyone that's acting in your movies. You know.
the Cougs here. What's up, Coog? He says, was that the 1993 one with John Leguizamo and Bob
Yes, it
Hoskins? It
was.
was. That was the one I was referring to. Yes. Um. So yeah, I thought that all these characters were awesome. Actors were awesome. Keegan Michael Key as Toad was also just a home run. Like just so perfect. Like these guys all crushed it. So you know, the next one is Chris Pratt. How did I feel about Chris Pratt's uh performance? So here's the thing. Chris Pratt does a great job in this movie. Um, I don't want to label it as perfect because obviously at first it's a little jarring to hear Mario with like just a regular voice. I want to go back and watch the movie again regardless, but like definitely kind of figure out how I feel about it. I think Chris Pratt's voice is I would put it as it's fun. It doesn't. He doesn't do a bad job. It's just not what I expect Mario to sound like. However, there is a joke. They do poke fun at the fact that Chris Pratt is not doing like the Mario voice. And again, don't want to spoil it, but like the first few minutes of the movie has like a joke, where something happens. Can't say it. But upon reflection, I really do think that it's for the best that Pratt doesn't do like an over the top Mario voice, because like I look at the rest of the cast and they're all just kind of them. You know what I mean? Like Luigi's not, Charlie Day's not, hitting home with a Italian accent. Like Anna Taylor-Joy is just speaking plainly. Jack Black obviously is being menacing and stuff, but he doesn't have an accent. He's not going super over the top, except for when he's like growling at some points. So like no one else in the cast really goes like outlandish. You know what I mean? So like watching the movie and kind of over like thinking back on it, I think it was for the best that they did not have Mario with a like really like phony Italian accent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I think it would have been super distracting if Mario was just constantly, and like obviously Charles Martinet, who plays Mario in the video games, he does have a cameo in this movie, and so he literally does the Mario voice at one point.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like again, there's a lot of love and attention to detail played here, but I would say that like it's not that Chris Pratt did poorly. He did a great job. He delivered his lines. His acting was good. I think some people are gonna find it a little like, oh, that's not what Mario should sound like. But like when you go to watch the movie, just imagine 90 minutes of like Mario over the top, shrilly Mario voice. And like I would argue that it was an improvement to not go that route. But that's just me.
I mean, he
Uh,
sounded fine to me in the previews. I got no problem with his voice. So
Yeah, and that would be my follow-up point. If you watch the trailers and you have no problem with it, then you're not going to have a problem with it in the movie. Again, Chris Pratt doesn't do a bad job. It's a good performance by him. His acting's pretty spot on here. It's about what you would expect from Chris Pratt, I'd say. And I enjoyed it. I wouldn't change it, even though I'm not saying it's perfect. I still wouldn't change it. I think it's the way it should be.
cool.
All right, next up, let's talk about the visuals of the movie. Oh man, how are we doing on the likes here? I don't see that you're saying let's get up to 10 likes in the chat. Did we hit 10 yet?
I'm not sure. I haven't been able to refresh it here. Let me see if I can refresh.
Yeah, please do. If you
Yeah,
guys can
we're up
knock
to
it
we're
to
up
10.
to 5.
All right, so I see 15 of us in here. If you could get us up to 10, that would be awesome. We really appreciate that. Let's see. Coog loves talking video games, films, TV, music, wrestling, lucha. The Discord's for you. Absolutely, Coog. Thank you, man. All right, so the visuals of this movie. Illumination just killed it. Like the movie looks amazing. Just beautiful animation. Locations were at some points just stunning. If you've seen any of the posters like of the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Like just Mario standing looking out over the Mushroom Kingdom. There's multiple moments of that you are in the movie that aren't seen at posters. Um, it's just incredible. And again, the amount of details and backgrounds is also amazing, super impressive. A lot of them are Easter egg filled. You have to go back, look at multiple stuff. And it's just, oh man, like the amount of details is amazing. And it was just so well done. Bringing certain things in the Mario universe to movie screen was just special in this movie. And again, I mean, like, is it spoilery to talk about things in the trailer, Jeff?
No, I'm playing the trailer right now.
Okay. So like the Rainbow Road stuff is just fucking cool. Like the fact they went on Rainbow Road in this movie, and I'm not going to talk about what happens on Rainbow Road, but the Rainbow Road scene is amazing. It's just all super enjoyable, awesome stuff. Absolutely love
Yeah, I like how in the preview they show a spot where there's the pyramids up in the sky and they're in a desert. I'm like, oh, that's Super Mario 3. Let's go.
it. Yeah, man. Like I'm telling you, like there is so much love and like just care about the Mario franchise. Like if you love Mario, like and really almost any generation of Mario, like it delivers. It really does. I'm looking at the B-roll. I'm a few seconds behind, like but like this scene with Mario and Donkey Kong running around, like that's a really cool scene that like fans of the older games would appreciate a few things that happen in that scene. Um, It's just it's
Yeah.
just really cool.
Obviously on the Rainbow Road here, they're doing a Mario Kart race. Like, they definitely showed that. So I can't wait for that scene. Oh my God.
Dude, I really might go see this movie again this week. Like I really might. I really
Let,
loved
let,
it.
yo, since we need to go see it, let's try to all go see it together.
Yeah, let's see what we can do.
See if there's any way we can all plan it out.
Yeah, I'd be down.
We'll do
We'll
like,
talk.
yeah, Thursday night would be perfect.
That's really funny because I'm off Thursday.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. All right. Let's see. So let's get into my next part of the review, which is the sound. I just want to touch on this a little bit. Um, don't want to sound like a broken record, but the music was phenomenal. It had me smiling from beginning to end. There are moments in the movie where they just take music from the games and kind of like fuse them into a film soundtrack where it's like they're not
Oh,
just straight up playing the songs, but they're just like kind of meshing it together in like a medley kind of way, and it's so good. There are just points where like again, this isn't really a spoiler, but so at one point they're in like the underground area, and like Mario and Luigi are walking, and like very briefly you hear the na 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 like the like but it's
oh hell
very
yeah.
it's very like light and like it's not like too much. It's just kind of floating in the air.
That's
Um,
awesome. Oh,
it's just great. Yeah, I would recommend it, Coog. It's a really fun time to be had. Um, it's a great way to spend 92 minutes. That would be what I would say. Um, but I was just smiling throughout the whole thing. And again, I'm not going to spoil it, but so Jack Black has a musical number in this movie.
yes.
I found out today that it is Oscar eligible or Emmy.
Really?
It's either Oscar or Emmy, I forget which one, but I saw
Oh,
it today.
yeah, why wouldn't it be? Yeah, it's in a movie.
Yeah. So I am going to be on the pushing for this song, for this performance to win. Absolutely. Um, but yeah, so I really enjoyed that. Um, so overall, my final thoughts on the movie. Uh, quite frankly, I am in love with the Super Mario Brothers movie. It does
Nice.
a perfect job at being true to the games, but not following so close that it doesn't make sense in the film. And like this is like a really big thing that like game movie adaptations really kind of fumble a lot in is like, well, how close do you want to follow it? Do you want to like follow it really like to the like to the T? Because sometimes games and movies don't translate very well. Or do you want to just kind of take bullet points and work around it, and then it has nothing to do with the movie? You know what I mean? And it just sucks. I think that this movie does a really great job at taking what makes Mario great and then kind of adapting it to a movie. Like, I don't want to tell you about the Rainbow Road scene, but there's like it makes sense how they do the Rainbow Road scene. And
Yeah.
like it would just be like kind of weird, like, well, wait a second, why is like all the bad guys and the good guys having a Mario Kart race? Like they're like I can't explain it because I don't want to
No,
spoil it. But
you hit the nail on the head though. It's hard to translate some things from a game to a movie, and I think, that's been the downfall of a lot of other video game adaptations to movies.
yeah, it really is. It's like you don't want to follow it too closely, but you also don't want to follow too far away. You want to find that sweet spot, and I really think that this movie does that. I think it does a
Yeah.
perfect job. Um, it really just feels like a love letter to Mario fans, but also Nintendo fans, while still being a fun movie for kids. There were kids in the theater when we saw it; they loved it. Myself, 30-year-old man, I also loved it. So it's like, all right, there you go.
Yeah.
Um,
Coog, I have not seen it yet. So Coog asks, does it follow canon storylines?
so yes.
Okay.
Like it doesn't the plot of the movie doesn't straight up replicate any one game, but like everything in it. So I guess no, I guess it's not canon. Yeah, it's not canon. But everything that happens in the game is very on brand with the games. So like again, not really a spoiler, Luigi, total scaredy cat.
Okay. Yeah.
And Charlie Day as a scaredy cat Luigi, it's as perfect as it sounds. Trust me. Um But so I love the performances in this movie, like for sure. Just thinking back on it right now, even. Um, but yeah, so it's like it's not canon, but it follows the games. I would say.
That's good. That's exactly what it needs to be. And I'm just glad you said it because I was going to bring it up. Sometimes these video game movies or television shows, they try to like go out of their way to do something that just doesn't need to be done. Like Halo, for example. they took the sweet spot and smashed it with a hammer by taking off, Master
Yeah,
Chief's helmet like right away, and they're like, "Hey, look at Master Chief." And it's like,
exactly.
why would you do such a thing? That was so far out of what you needed to do. It made no sense.
So they could build up to showing off his butt.
Oh, yeah, okay. Keep his helmet on. It would have been funny.
That would have been funny. Um, so yeah, so my biggest issue with this movie, and really the only problem I have with this movie, which some would argue, again, not really a problem, is the runtime. So this movie clocks in at 92 minutes. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It gets in, tells its
It gets
story,
it.
and it gets out. Um, there
I
were
can
certain
appreciate that.
sections of the plot that feel rather rushed to me. I would have loved an extra 15 minutes for this movie. I would have loved to spend more time in this world, which some people could say that that's a great thing. You know, me, I was like, oh, why is this movie over? Like,
You know, I would imagine we definitely got about 15 minutes of stuff that may have been cut, and we might get like a nice director's cut. That'd be sweet.
yeah, it would be. All I wanted from this movie was more. I want to go see this
Nice.
movie again. I will say this: stick around. There is a mid and post credit scene for this movie.
I was gonna say I heard there were two actually post
There is.
credit scenes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So there's a mid credit scene and there's a post credit scene.
Okay,
So there are two. Um,
nice,
the post credit scene is worth sticking around for. Not
good.
gonna say what happens. I was joking with Dev, and obviously this isn't what happens, although I fucking wish it would have. So I was joking with Dev that like I was like, man, I really want the end credit scene to be like Mario walks into his house, and Samuel Jackson's there to tell him about the Smash Brothers initiative. Um, I thought that would have been funny. Um,
Dude, Illumination just put out the Bowser music video from the movie.
oh shit.
I'm like,
Um,
dude, I wish I could play this on here. I don't know if they would strike us.
they probably would. I would not risk it.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
gonna play it on here, but if you guys want to see it, it's called Bowser Peaches. Official music video just came.
yeah, the name of the
Uh,
song is called Peaches.
I don't know
Um,
if I want to watch it before I see the movie. I'm gonna have
I
to
wouldn't.
figure.
No, Jeff. I would say don't. Like, go see this movie. Like, that's my
Yeah.
recommendation. My next line is the final score for this review. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. Um,
Woo!
I'd give it a 10 if it was like a half hour longer. And like
Wow,
again,
nice.
some could argue that that's not a problem. It's like, hey, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't add unnecessary stuff. Gets in, tells a fun story. Makes you reminisce about 30 years of fandom. And whatever, and does a great job.
Oh,
Um,
that's perfect, man. Makes for a quick date night. Get in, get out.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
that's
love this movie, and the bar is set. Like between this and Last of Us, which obviously I haven't seen Last of Us yet, but it's critically and commercially and fan acclaimed. Um, the bar is set. Like all these games coming out with movies and TV shows, like all right, well now you gotta now the bar is set. Like Mario Brothers was
mm-hmm.
excellent, Last of Us was excellent. Whether it's a cartoony game or a serious game, like there is now top tier like leaders in place where it's like, well now that's the standard bearer. And I think that Mario Brothers absolutely crushes it.
That's awesome. Very glad to hear that. Definitely gonna have to talk to you about Thursday night though, man. After I get off, I might try to get out like an hour early. Maybe we all go see it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll let the wife know. I'm sure she'll be down. I mean, I definitely want to see it again. So that's a definite for me. Um, But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I got here tonight. Do you have anything else you want to add or any more questions about the movie?
No, actually, that's about all I want to know. I'm gonna have to resist watching this Peaches video. He's sitting there on a piano. Oh man.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Just let it be, man. I'm just telling you, just let it be. Just wait.
Yeah,
Just
I will. I will. The
um
Coog says he's seen more AEW pay-per-views at the theater than actual movies in the past 6 months. Getting picky about the movies. Yeah, that's something I've been wanting to say too, man. Coog, that is one of the funnest experiences going to a movie theater for a wrestling pay-per-view. It's crazy how fun that is.
yeah, maybe that's what we'll do for Double or Nothing. We'll see.
Oh, that'd be a good idea. I'll see if they'll let us film it.
What theater usually does it in Chamonix?
AMC.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but
So Oxford Valley is where I went, I believe.
okay.
I can't remember though. I think it was Oxford Valley. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's all AMC's. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us here. This has been episode 21 of the Game Room podcast. Again, please hit that like button and subscribe on your way out. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that was hanging out with us here today. We had a pretty good amount of views over the course of the show. Once again, thank you to everybody. Join our Discord. We have really awesome conversations about video games, wrestling, sports, you name it, we do it all. If you like pro wrestling, we talk about AEW mostly, but pro wrestling in general on Wednesdays and Fridays with our Dynamite and Rampage reviews. Jeff, I'm going to a New Japan show here in South Philadelphia on Sunday. Did you see who I'm going to be watching ringside?
Yeah, I'm jealous now. That's a
Oh.
good card.
They replaced Eddie Kingston with Orange Cassidy, and like while it sucks that I won't see Eddie, like that's like ringside for an Orange Cassidy match. That's
I mean, if by any miracle, chance, craziness, Eddie watches this, I'm sorry, Eddie, but that's actually an upgrade in my book. Getting to see the international champion right now, I would be so happy.
I know. I'm so stoked. But
I would
anyways,
still be
thank you
pissed
everyone
not getting
hanging
to
out
see
with
Eddie. I'm sorry, Eddie. I'm sorry.
us.
He's gonna kill me.
And he's like, well, I'm glad you like the Mario movie at least. But again, thank you to everyone hanging out with us. Follow our social medias in the description down below. We will see you guys on Wednesday for the Dynamite review.
Right on. Peace.